The overall weather pattern right now as March begins to fade into April is looking relatively quiet around the country. But boy, March weather is tricky that way, and April weather can be too. It can quickly turn from something quiet into something quite active. We have experienced a cooling trend over the northern part of the U.S. in particular, whereas we had gotten some early spring weather where things had really warmed up nicely. Most of the snow in North Dakota and northern Minnesota is melted, or at least melted a lot of it away, and now it's cooling back down a bit. The stormy weather, as we look at this pattern going forth, will be in the mid-south and in the eastern part of the Corn Belt, which will probably be a little less stormy and just a little bit more rainy. I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a minute. Let's engage the pattern, though, first. The really cold weather, that's in retreat, and it's really probably about done for the season. I mean, it is nearly April. By frigid, I mean that weather where it's below zero all day. That's going to stay up in the Arctic. However, cold weather is something we'll have to watch for, and we may get a few days this week into parts of North Dakota and Minnesota, parts of the northern Great Lakes, and New England, where it just stays below freezing all day. But really, most of the United States has gotten a bit warmer. Very meandering pattern right now with some troughiness, but for the moment, the jet stream overall is relatively weak. A fairly significant trough will move out, and this will generate a storm system over the eastern part of the country that'll bring severe weather south and rain north. And as we go through the week, I do expect a modest cooling trend again in through the Great Lakes and the northern tier. The northern Rockies still remaining relatively cold. That will begin to fade. Parts of Texas, Florida, and the desert Southwest will be hot from time to time over the next couple of weeks. As we move this into the second week of the pattern, we will start to experience this troughiness beginning to kick out yet another storm system that may come a little bit further north into the Middle West. We'll keep an eye on that for certain, and that will be a possibility for a rain turning to snow system somewhere between the upper Midwest and the northern plains. Weather will remain relatively cool north, but we're going to have some pretty warm days getting up into the pleasant 60s and 70s throughout the central and eastern United States. This first week at the end of March, the early part of April, one storm system will bring mostly rain, thunderstorms to the mid-south, rain to the eastern part of the Corn Belt, likely one belt of rain changing to snow, with, I'll mention, some lighter snows up into the Dakotas and Minnesota. I don't expect this to be a big storm system. There will be some snows along the spine of the Rockies. Southwest looks dry. Moving forward into full-on April, it's looking relatively dry. This doesn't mean no rain. It just means probably not heavy rain. There will be some in the eastern part of the country. That snowy pattern will likely continue in the Rocky Mountain states. And again, for the northern plains, upper Midwest area, blank in this kind of an outlook doesn't mean nothing. It just means nothing that I can see that looks like a big signature to hang a big precipitation factor on.